Should a Christian vote Democrat or Republican? I want to take you back to the slavery days, and I want you to suppose that you had one party that said slavery is completely evil. We want to completely abolish this abominable act from the land. But they also wanted to raise taxes and eliminate health care. All right. But you have another party who does a lot of really good things for the community. They do a lot of good things for society. They help the poor. They lower the taxes for the people. They're strong in education, but they have been very public about wanting to promote and enforce as many laws as possible to maintain slavery and even make it more prevalent. As a matter of fact, they believe that the government should not get involved in matters of slavery and that every human being should have the choice to own slaves. It's not our place to regulate that. We will even fund programs to make it easier for anyone who wants to own slaves to do so. Now, my brothers and sisters, would you say to yourself, well, they really do stand for a lot of good things for the community, so I'll overlook their desire to enslave people? Or would that one issue of slavery outweigh all of the good things that party represents because it goes against the very will of God for his people, and it goes directly against a Christian worldview? I want to make the argument that if that illustration does not resonate with you, it's probably because you see slavery as something that would directly affect you, particularly if you are an American, or excuse me, an African American in this country. But you don't see abortion in the same way because you don't believe it directly affects you. My brothers and sisters, I want to encourage you to give that some consideration as you cast your vote. Why? Because I believe that the issue of abortion is an even greater issue than the issue of slavery.
What?
Was he about to say
the greater issue than slavery?
He did. So go check out Alan Parr. He did a great video.
He's right if you put in your faith first.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
Okay. But go check out Alan Parr's video. He did like an hour-long breakdown of what Republicans believe, what Democrats believe. I thought he did an amazing job. But this section, my sister clipped out for us, and she wanted to discuss it. Him using the analogy of slavery in regard to abortion. What did you guys think?
I'll let y'all speak on it first.
You know how this go?
No, I don't. How's it go?
You do.
How does it go?
It goes 1, 2.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
Oh, not back to one.
We're going to crisscross and throw the alley-oop to Shania. Go ahead, Shania.
Okay, well, I definitely feel like a thing could be a thing and we don't have to compare them together. Because I don't like the direct correlation between abortion and slavery.
Me either.
At all.
I kind of feel like they're one and the same when you're talking about the elimination of people, elimination of lives, slavery.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're still feeling the direct effects of slavery to this day.
Yeah.
And abortion as well. I talked to some Christians about the abortion, and they're a Democrat, and I said, how can you rationalize that? And they say, well, it's a free country. People have the right to do whatever they want to do. That doesn't necessarily say I agree with it, but it's not up to me to decide whether or not they want to do that with their body. Me personally, I just feel like anybody who says that's okay, I just can't get with it. But on the same thing, like he was saying, like when you look at the Republican Party and some of the things that they stand for, it's almost like we're going to let you live, but we're going to ruin your life after you survive, almost type stuff. So it's like you can see corrupt things with both sides. You can see some positive things on both sides as a believer. So I kind of just stand in the point of all of it is just crazy. I'm just going to trust the Lord.
So I'm curious about your reaction. So, and I think this reveals how much you think abortion is a problem, right? Mm-hmm. If you think slavery is way worse than abortion.
Is this our island question?
Yeah, it sounds like it is.
I think they're terrible. I think they're both terrible. And I think our stance should be the same. Like, what does the Bible say about this? And the Bible says that it's wrong. Even though people like to say, I want to separate, religion from law, we were based the laws were based on Judeo-Christian law. And I feel like we are responsible what happens in this land. If my people humble themselves and repent, I'll heal this land. Like, I think there's a direct correlation with what we allow. And if you want I'm sorry, my brain is just.
Yeah, I think this really, I think, reveals what do you believe about abortion. Do you believe that babies are being murdered? Or do you just think it's like, oh, it's just a piece of a woman's body that she's cutting out? Like, it really kind of, what do you think about that? And I think that sways how much you think what Democrats believe in, how evil it is or not.
But I think comparing the two is kind of harsh. One is because if I wish we just said a whole clip, because I'm like, is he on that Kanye like slavery was a choice thing? Because then
I think
abortion is for some people is a choice. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
I think he's pointing out the fact that because people, if you watch, you have to watch. It's an hour. So
yeah, I know. I saw it.
thing.
I was like, Camille.
And he started. It started out with him basically. He pointed out this is why some Christians are okay with being Democrats, and this is why Christians are okay with being Republicans. Yeah. He broke down each point.
And he says why he's voting the way he's voting.
And his conclusion is the issue of abortion outweighs the other issues that are on the other side.
So he basically, because I did skim through some of it, and he was basically, like you said, is like, well, abortion is more important than civil rights, is more important than all this other stuff that, you know, the Democratic Party has presented to African Americans. So for me and my belief system, I believe that I have to go based off the policies of the conservative. That's what it sounded like he said.
He's saying pretty much the Democratic Party were the ones who wanted slavery, and they also are the ones who are cool with abortion. That's pretty much what he's saying.
No, I don't think it was like a whole Dixiecrat switch situation. It's just I think he's just saying now, today, in today's world, if one party supported slavery, but they did a bunch of good stuff for healthcare and the economy and all this kind of stuff, but they were all in on slavery. Then the other party was anti-slavery, but they were really bad on economy and they were mean. You know what I mean? He's basically saying this issue is way more important than them being mean or them being bad on, taking care of the poor and all that kind of stuff.
I agree with that. It's no way in my mind I can rationalize me being okay with slavery. There's no way in my mind I can feel myself being okay with the murder of babies or children. Like I was hearing during the I forgot what you call it, but they were talking the other night, and they were saying some places you can do an abortion up to 9 months. Yeah, I'm like, a baby 9? That's a baby. That's a life. And
this is even worse than that, guys. Like now, again, these are edge cases. It's still thousands and thousands of babies, but this is where I think the debate. This is kind of like our way into talking about what happened with the debate. I think Kamala did way better than Trump, but the issue that she still is like the weakest on for me is they asked her, "Would you support restrictions on abortion past a certain point?" She didn't answer it. And she can't answer it because the people who are supporting her, some of them do support all the way up until birth. And what Trump clumsily brought up during the debate, because he's the terrible person for you guys to be sticking out there as the leader of this thing, is there are situations
policies, Sean.
And this is why it's so gross. There are some situations where abortions are attempted and they fail. The baby is alive outside of the womb, and then they kill the baby.
So that's murder.
That's what he was trying to bring up, but he just sucks at it, right? So this abortion thing is more serious than I think a lot of us think about. Late-term abortions are gross. Yeah. They're gross.
It's murder, man.
I mean, if you don't think of killing a fetus as murder, late-term abortions are actual murder.
Yes.
It's serial killer murder.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Like, I looked it up before, and it literally brought me to tears in college. Like, they put acid in the mom's womb to burn the baby alive. Like you said, they incite, my brain, goodness. But anyway, they make the woman give birth, and then they literally wring their neck, like how you wring the neck of a chicken. They strangle them to where they die. Like, it's gruesome. It is gruesome.
And that speaks to people who say, maybe you're making an emotional decision when you think about this stuff. Like, I don't think it's emotion. I think it's just a fact. Like, babies are getting killed. You know what I'm saying? Like, lives are being taken. And if you're having sex and you're unprotected sex and you're doing different things, that's one thing. Now, I understand the case of somebody may have been raped or taken advantage of, and now you're pregnant and you're thinking, like, I don't want to have a baby after that experience. As traumatic as that is, it's like, I don't know. I just think the baby still shouldn't be blamed per se. I know that's kind of, some people might not agree with that. And if you don't want to have that child, it's people out here who want to have children who can't give.
Several abortions himself, and he is only saying that, my opinion, to appease you guys so he could get in office. That's the decision.
That's different.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not one part, because he, out of his own mouth, has supported abortion. Says 6 weeks is not enough. Then he backs up because he realizes that could get him in trouble. He sees that the abortion issue he's losing on, so he tries to backpedal to where so he doesn't lose every single vote of people who are pro-abortion. He is not a good example of what the Republican Party thinks about this issue.
I heard somebody say that. They were saying the Republican policies may be more, I guess you could say, more Christian, but the representative of the Republican Party is not a good example of Christianity.
That's all I'm saying. So the reason I think this is interesting is because I do think a lot of us have minimized how evil the abortion industry is. However, there are, in the midst of pursuing eliminating abortions, there's been so many compromises made and so many insensitivities. Like, okay, there are women who want to become pregnant that this affects. All this stuff affects. There are women who wanted to be pregnant that lost their child that this affects. There's a lack of sensitivity towards those women in the midst of all of this.
Yeah.
That's evil too.
Yeah.
So what I'm struggling with this is that the people who are in charge of this movement, I don't like them. I get what they're going for because the people on the ground have good intentions. The people that they're electing to carry out the intentions, I think, are evil people. So you want me to vote for these evil people because somehow, some way you get what you want. I don't think you realize how much you're giving up to get that. That's my concern.
I guess the question goes, and this is going to be probably for everybody's party, what's the thing for abortion? Because I think so many people think so many different ways about it. Because for somebody who's a Christian, who's a Democrat, who loves Jesus, and you serve with them at your church, and they're good people, y'all have had stuff at your church, they've helped you out in your life, like, you're looking at them some type of way because they feel some type of way, and they may be like, I'm pro, I'm not even pro-choice, I'm pro-life, but I love the Democrats on what they stand on when it comes to, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think sometimes we look at abortion from a lens of, I think a lot of people look at abortion from a lens of, because the first thing they go to is the rape situation, or it's a woman getting violated, or other complications.
Endangering the mother.
Yeah. And you don't want to be insensitive to that.
Yeah, and you don't. Yeah. But I think the problem is kind of like how you feel with Trump. The people that's using it is not using it for that reason. They're using it because they just want to have their life.
And that's why I'm like, why is our natural reaction to see evil over there and run to the evil over there? Like, why are we doing it? Like, I feel very comfortable saying that's evil and that's evil. You want me to pick one of y'all need to change. I'm not going to change.
That's how I feel. I feel like, because at the end of the day, you're voting for the policies and not the person. And then when I look at your policies, I see some good stuff, some bad stuff, and over here I see the same thing. It's like, you're asking me to choose one of the lesser evils, and I just rather not be involved. I'd rather just pray for my leader and trust the Lord.
But I think, and this is where, and people would say that's not right either. But where we can have it both ways is that there are people on the lowest levels of government that actually make decisions that are genuine, godly people. They haven't been corrupted yet. Those are the people you invest in at the local level and try to get them up to the national level. Trying to do it top down, I think that's why we're getting to where we are now.
I don't think nobody's good in politics, man. Honestly, I just came to that conclusion because I think you're gonna have to make decisions to do something that
You make compromises,
you're gonna have to compromise in some way that you said to the people that you wasn't gonna compromise. Because any bill or law getting passed, they need enough from both sides to pass that law.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when you talking to somebody and somebody is a Republican and you are a Democrat and you like, hey man, come on, help me with this law. You pass that law, you try to run for something. Hey, when back in the day and such and such, he signed. You know what I'm saying? So that's
I don't think we realize how dirty the game is. So once people get into the game, they think they're gonna be pure of heart and this and that.
Yeah.
You realize you get there and it's like, oh, you have to do what they say because they give us money.
Yeah.
You have to do what they say because they give us money. That dude over there, don't tell him no.
Yeah.
Because this whole thing shuts down if we don't do what he says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I agree with that. I can't remember which theologian said it. I think it's Charles Spurgeon, but it was basically along the lines of like, the thing with sin is like it's under the guise of personal autonomy. So like you're saying like, okay, because of my freedom, I can do this, and that. But as Christians, we don't guide our actions or our views or our decisions based on our feelings. We're supposed to do it based on the word of God. And I think there's a direct correlation between our actions and what we do, especially as a nation. And I honestly really don't want to frustrate the anger of God anymore. So like I get like looking for the sin and the policies on each side, but I definitely think abortion is something that will definitely even the more incite the anger of God. And as a nation, I think we need, and Christians, I think we need to stand on, this is terrible. And this is like, even when we look in the Bible, like the different nations and stuff that used to sacrifice babies, because really when we look at the origin of abortion, it was created by a witch. Planned Parenthood. This is a professing witch that created this. And the ritual is a ritual unto a demon in the Bible named Moloch. So it's like, y'all are like, even though y'all are doing this consciously or subconsciously, you are killing these babies, you are spilling innocent blood. That frustrates God. So like we need to take a stand to make sure we are not allowing this to happen.
And my thing is, Christians who, again, I'm on your side, I get it, get rid of this dude and get rid of any of the people who are on his side. He's ruining this for you. Get rid of him.
It's too late.
Denounce him because he is not a good example of what this is all about.
But here's the game. But saying that, and then like hearing Kamala saying, well, I got like 200 conservatives riding with me.
That's why though.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, my question is, going back to what she just said, if you believe, you may not like him,
right?
But if you believe in are you believing what she's saying too?
Yeah, but here's the thing. He's lost his ground because now he, out of his mouth too many times, he sounds like her.
That's the conflicting thing, though, because you got one party over here who's cool with abortions and transgenders and homosexual lifestyle and all the rest of this stuff, but then you got these guys over here who have the policy that seems more Christian, but the guy's not Christian. So now it's like, am I not going to vote for these Christian policies because the guy at the lead is kind of suspect? Because if I vote the other way, I'm voting completely against what I stand for. So that's the catch-22 in it.
I think my thing is this: don't let this destroy friendships, family members, anything. I'm saying, no, I'm serious. Maya showed me something of somebody we know, and she posted something. I'm like, now you know people that you've been in ministry with for like years. You know them, like y'all know each other. Y'all have done ministry together. They've helped you. You've helped them in life. So why are you letting politics break you up? That's the foolishness of this. Like, that's for Christians and even like for people that you know, like your family members. Like for this to do that is ridiculous, man.
Yeah, I think we need to pray for everyone because I really think we need to stop being guided by our feelings and what we think is best, and we need to pray because I just lost my train of thought again. But in circling back, we don't like the person, but at the end of the day, it's the party. So if the party is gonna pass more laws that are in favor and alignment with God's word.
Hey, y'all could do that. I ain't voting for him.
I've been silent.
I'll vote for everybody else. I'll vote for everybody else who stands up against him.
Yeah.
If you want my vote, have the right policy and stand up against that dude.
So you voting for presidency, Jill Stein?
I don't know, but I'm not voting for him.
I've been silent.
He is not a good person. I don't care what y'all think.
So I've been silent this whole time because just in my mind, like, man, you can't compare anything to slavery, and it bothers me whenever it gets brought up. Whenever somebody compares civil rights issues to LGBTQs, like, you just can't do that. I went to HBCU. I studied this stuff for years, and you just can't. You can't, in my mind. Like, there's no convincing me that anything is worse than slavery. It just isn't. Even when you go back to the Bible, right, and you go back to when Moses was delivering the Israelites away from the hand of Pharaoh, one of the plagues was to kill every male child, right? And the angel of death had to pass over your house so that your child wouldn't be killed. But then God also saw that as, let me still free these people. Like, my number one thing was to free them from this bondage they were in. So when I look at that, I'm just like, I can't understand how we can compare something that, you know, none of us made a choice for. None of our ancestors made a choice for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so when you think about this, you've got people on the Democratic side who vote Democrat, who vote Republican, that have all had abortions. And it was their choice. Slavery wasn't a choice for us.
What about from the baby's point of view?
From the baby's point of view, that's different, right? I've had to deal with a miscarriage as well. So I remain completely silent on that. I don't talk about a mother's anything, because I know what that womb does to a lot of people I know and love. But I'm just like, slavery? You can't convince me of that.
Yeah, they were killing babies during slavery. Like, that was
okay, but look at all the things that we have. Look at the effects of slavery,
Right,
even
absolutely.
to this day. You know what I mean?
To this day.
I get you. I think mass murder is close, or maybe a little bit ahead.
I think it's one and the same to me. I think it's either way it goes, you're eliminating life. I think.
I just feel like because abortion is a decision of the mother.
But you're talking from the mother. But what about the kid?
Well, okay, so I'm saying, who's God holding accountable for the sin? Right? So back in slavery, we all were just there. I mean, I'm saying our ancestors were just there, living through the pain, living through the hell of it all. And so for me, I'm just like, I can't imagine anything being comparatively worse than that.
What about the Holocaust?
I don't talk about that because I'm not in that community.
But you can imagine that could be worse.
Talk about
Wonderful.
But it could be worse.
No.
Wise.
I've seen this argument on
Wise
Instagram,
decision.
Holocaust versus slavery. I don't get into that.
I just say that
So you get
I get
canceled
what I get what you're saying,
How long
but
did the Holocaust last?
I don't get into those years because
No, I'm just saying how long-
they still feel the effects of it. So you can't. If you give a number to it, somebody's gonna have.
Didn't
a problem
Germany
with
give
it.
them reparations?
all I'm saying is evil is evil.
Right.
It
Mass
is.
atrocities
It
are
is.
mass atrocities.
It
This is
is.
one of them.
Evil is evil, bro.
This is one of them.
I get what you're saying, though. I get it.
Yeah.
Trust me, I get it. Like, I was talking to a counselor. They say a lot of people who come in, they're dealing with post-traumatic slave disorder and don't even realize it because the way your mother and your grandma raised you, and she was raised by her grandma,
Yeah.
and like all of them had to adjust to live a certain lifestyle due to the effects of slavery. You can't go here. You can't say this. You got to
Yeah.
go through the back door. You got to drink out the color water fountain. You got to do this. Like,
Yeah.
and before that, like they learned this stuff. Like, so it's like a submissive mindset that they had. Where they didn't want to push the envelope and try to achieve certain things because they were raised to believe they were beneath a certain group of
Yeah.
people. All coming back stemming from the
Yeah.
brainwashing from slavery. Even the families today still being divided and broken up and buck breaking and things of that nature that happened during those times. So I definitely feel the effects, but you also can't, in my mind, minimize the murder of children who didn't even have a chance to even have a voice. It's like you just wiping them out. So I think with slavery, you were trying to eliminate black people. You were trying to demean black people. You weren't really trying to give us a chance to anything besides being your slave and working for you. And even to this day, you still insult our intelligence. You demean us. You look at us as less than. You don't even consider. At that time during slavery, they didn't even consider black people to be a human being. You were like 1/3 of a human being. You know what I'm saying? They called us black. They just gave us a color. We're not. Everybody else got a race name. We call black. You know what I'm saying? So I get the disrespect and everything that comes from it. But I can't minimize mass murder at the same time.
But then even
Oh
the
my
same
goodness.
thing, it's abortion benefits white supremacy too. Because
Yeah.
the
That's why I
woman
said
who created it,
It's an
she
extension
wanted-
of
she
slavery.
wanted-
It's one and the same.
And she's a racist. Like, I see your correlation so clearly now. Because yes, most of the Planned Parenthood clinics are in minority neighborhoods, and the lady who created it is racist and she hates minorities. So it's literally was put to make us take ourselves out. And what also just connected to me, because like you said, slavery, how it changes wig, it turns into the new Jim Crow with prison, and now I feel like it's turning into abortion.
You know, it's one and the same. I don't want to offend anybody by saying that, but I think it's one and the same when you're talking about murdering people. It's evil. Like evil is evil. Like, and
my goodness.
it's affecting millions of people. Slavery is affecting millions of people.
And I would say if you're disconnected from why we're saying it's so evil, look up what the process is of late term abortions. If you have no connection to what we're talking about, we're not making that up. It's disgusting.
Wow.
So if you're kind of blind to it and you're like, oh, it's not that bad, it's really bad. It's really bad. So just take a look at
But
it.
the poll says which one is worse between slavery and abortion? Slavery, 55%. Abortion, 45%.
Yeah, it should be 50-50. It's all